We like to think technology always moves forward. But commercial aviation peaked in 1976, and everything since has been slower. The future already happened. It was called Concorde, and we killed it. Not because it could not fly, not because the dream was impossible, because the world decided it was too expensive to keep. This is the story of how humanity reached the future and then abandoned it. When Concorde entered service, it was unlike anything the world had ever seen. Built by Britain and France, it flew at Mach 2.04, over 2,100 kilometers per hour, more than twice the speed of sound. While a regular commercial jet takes 7 to 8 hours to cross the Atlantic, Concorde did it in under 3. In 1996, it set a record that still stands today. New York to London in 2 hours, 52 minutes and 59 seconds. Passengers flew so high they could see the curvature of the Earth. The aircraft itself expanded in flight, stretching several inches from the heat of supersonic speed. A ticket cost the equivalent of a luxury car. And people paid. Rock stars, diplomats, CEOs, people who valued time enough to spend a fortune saving it. Concorde was not just transportation. It was the most elite seat in commercial aviation, a machine built to make the rest of the world feel slow. But behind the glamour, the economics were broken from the start. Concorde carried only around 100 passengers. Subsonic aircraft could carry several times more, far more efficiently. Its sonic boom meant it could fly supersonic only over the ocean, making huge parts of the world commercially useless to it. It was brilliant engineering, but brilliant engineering is not the same thing as a workable business. Only 14 aircraft ever entered commercial service. The costs were enormous. The routes were limited. The margins were fragile. Concorde looked like the future, but financially, it was a machine from a world that did not really exist. Then came the moment that shattered the illusion. On July 25, 2000, Air France Flight 4590 took off from Paris. A metal strip left on the runway by another aircraft caused a tire to burst. The debris triggered a chain of failures. Fuel ignited. The aircraft lifted off in flames. 2 minutes later, it crashed. 113 people died. It was the only fatal crash in Concorde's entire history. But it did what decades of bad economics had failed to do. It broke public confidence. And once confidence broke, Concorde was no longer just expensive. It became indefensible. Concorde returned to service, but by then the world had changed. The crash had damaged trust. September 11th damaged premium travel. And the economics had never worked in the first place. So Concorde was not killed by one crash alone. It was retired by a world that no longer wanted to pay for wonder. That is what makes this story bigger than aviation. Concorde proves that progress is not permanent. Sometimes humanity reaches the future first and then decides it is too expensive to stay there. The future already happened. It was called Concorde. And more than 20 years later, we are still flying slower than we did when Concorde was alive.